Namaste and welcome to your side body sequence. You can have your mat lengthwise for ease of viewing. So when you're ready to join me, you'll just come to the right end of your mat. Setting up into Tadasana with our hands resting in Anjali Mudra. Begin by cultivating your Ujjayi breath, your victorious breath. Flooding in through the body and finding this sense of groundedness, this sense of presence. Setting your intention. And when you are ready, charging your intention, charging your space with the sound of Om. Take a deep breath in. Please release the hands, opening the eyes, circle and sweep hands high on the in-breath. And on your exhalation, please let your left hand find your left thigh. Breathe in to exaggerate the length through the right side of the torso before exhaling and taking a little bit more depth into lateral flexion. So left hand pressing firmly into the thigh, creating a little bit more support for the lower back, energizing through the pelvic floor, through the lower belly, and through your glutes to stabilize the pelvis and the spine. Take one more breath in and out. And on your inhalation, let your hands rise. Find your maximal length before releasing your right hand to your right thigh. A breath in lengthens and opens the left side of the torso more before you slide over on the out breath towards your right knee crease. Keep rolling the top ribs open. Keep energizing the foundation of your feet, your legs, your pelvic floor, Mula Bandha, your lower belly, Uddiyana Bandha. And take one more full, deep breath into your left lung. On the in-breath, let your hands rise. Find your maximal length before taking a half forward fold with your hands resting on your thighs. Breathe in, lengthen. And on the out-breath, please just pausing here, letting your head and your shoulders release and relax. If it feels good, just wag the tail a little bit. Nobody's looking. So just shifting the weight a little bit from side to side. Do two more of those. Looks a little strange, but feels good to the lower back, to the back of the pelvis. Coming back into our stillness, please. We're walking our hands towards the left side of our mat to open the right side of the body more. So from there, you might find the floor is a little bit too far away. So hands can rest on the thigh, the shin, or grounding the hands to the floor if possible. Once you gently find your anchor point, you'll use your hands to open you up through the right side of the torso more by exaggerating the length there. Please take a moment to bend your right knee as deeply as you wish, and that'll allow you to exaggerate the length through your left leg. Staying and breathing for 2. Hopefully feeling a really lovely zing down the outer sweep of that leg. Hello, sciatic nerve. And then please just recalibrate to the midline before easing your way over to the other side. Remembering the hands can rest on the thigh, the shin, the foot, or coming to the floor. Just feel that length coming into the left side of the torso with a little bit more exaggeration through your left leg. Please begin to bend really deeply into the left and now gently lengthen more through the right. That creates that zing now through the right side, through the right hip all the way down the outer sweep of the right leg. Take one more full deep breath in and out before gently returning to the midline, please. Let your head release and relax again, feeling a little bit more length into the back of the body, into our hamstrings, into our lower backs. And when you feel ready, You'll bend your knees so deeply that your chest is resting on your thighs. And we'll take one spinal roll all the way up to standing. Just feeling each vertebrae moving, articulating. Reaching hands high on the in-breath before releasing the hands down and around to Samastitihi. So let's build our flow. On the inhalation, reach and rise. On the exhalation, bend your knees as much as you need to safely come into a forward fold. Breathe in, lift, lengthen, exaggerate the length of the spine before stepping or hopping if you're ready. And lowering through your chaturanga. First one, always recommended to be on your knees. Taking a baby cobra or an up dog if you feel ready, before propelling the hips high to your downward facing dog. Your right leg is going to rise on the inhalation, and on the exhalation, right knee to right elbow, pause. Inhaling to send that leg high again. Lift to the tips of your left toes, stepping that foot all the way through, and releasing your left knee to the ground. Please sweep your arms high, find the length through the side body, and then easing yourself in any amount. Variation 1, hands resting on the thigh. As we take a gentle side bend over, feeling more length coming into left side body. And if you don't need the support of your right hand, reach energetically towards the floor. Keep breathing length into the side. Keep energizing through the stabilizers. Taking one more full breath in and out. On the inhalation, we reach high. And as the breath comes out of the body, frame your foot for just a moment. Please shift the weight back, coming into half Hanumanasana or hamstring stretch, but exaggerating side body by walking the hands to the pinky toe side. Again, hands can rest on the thigh, the shin, or the floor, or a block if you have one. And then please draw your right hip back, left hip forward as we create that little bit more length through the side and the back of the leg. Just 2 more breaths. One more full deep breath, please. Before gently returning the hands to frame the foot, but I'm going to keep us coming all the way to the long edge of the mat. So you'll need to spin through your left knee. You'll find stability through the foot, through the knee before rising up tall. Please stack your shoulder over your hip and your hips over your knee as we take right hand to the thigh, left hand to ceiling, and gently ease our way towards that right ankle. Now the body, to get away from the stretch, will shift the pelvis back. So please exaggerate the pressing forward of the hips and the tucking of the tailbone as we roll and spiral through the side body. Just take one more breath, please. Almost like you're in slow motion. Windmill the arms to find the floor on the other side. So it might be the fingertips, it might be the palm. Once you ground through that left hand, get light through your right foot. Notice what happened to the hips. Press them forward, gazing to the floor or gazing to that top hand. Just one more full breath in and out. Please grounding back into that top foot. Come back through the midline, and we're just retracing our steps, sliding that leg back to a high plank and lowering through your second chaturanga on knees or toes. Taking that baby cobra, or maybe now feeling ready for your up dog before releasing up and back, downward facing dog. Your left leg is going to rise on the in-breath before sending it forward. Left knee, left elbow, pause. Inhale, send the leg just as high as it feels good to your body. Before lifting to the tips of the toes, placing the foot between the hands, releasing the knee to the earth. Breathing in to send your hands high. Before shifting just slightly forward to open through the hip flexor. We're grounding left hand to left thigh as we open through the side body. If you don't need the support of that hand, please energize and reach for the floor. So feeling the contrasting of lifting and lengthening, and at the same time seeking the earth with your left fingertips. One more breath in and out. On the in-breath, let your hands rise. And on your exhalation, grounding the hands on either side of the foot, lengthening through the front leg, and lifting through your toes. Promenade, stroll your way over to the pinky toe side of the foot. Remembering hands can be on the thigh, the shin, or the floor. Once we've arrived here safely, we drag back energetically through this leg, finding a little bit more squaring of the pelvis by encouraging the left hip back, right hip forward. Finding 2 more breaths. One more full, deep breath in. Oh, that leg's talking to me. Now I'm going to turn my back on you. Please forgive me. But we're walking all the way to the long edge of the mat. And once you've arrived there safely, you'll come tall, stacking shoulders over hips. Tuck the tailbone, grounding with your left hand on your left thigh. Send your right hand high before laterally flexing towards your left ankle. Feel the rolling open of the top ribs. Feel the length coming through the side body, all the way from the pinky finger to the top of that hip. Maybe even all the way down the thigh to the knee. And then please, in your own time, you'll navigate to the other side. So lightly landing through the right hand, through the fingertips or through the palm. And then feel your left leg get light. Be long through the top body. And rolling open to look to the thumb if your neck allows. Staying and breathing for one more full deep breath before we gently ease our way back up and out of that shape. Simply retrace your steps back to the top of the mat. Lift the back knee and please step all the way to the end of the mat on the inhalation. Exhale, completely let it go. Rise and reach all the way to extended mountain pose, looking to your thumbs before releasing the hands down and around to Samasthiti. So building our flow, remembering we can always stay with that first round option. Exhaling over we go into the forward fold. Breathe in, lengthening arms, legs, spines before stepping or hopping. Moving through your chaturanga. If you're working with shoulder issues, this is what chaturanga looks like. The inhale takes us to baby cobra or up dog before releasing up and back, downward facing dog. Right leg's ready. Let it lift on the in-breath before bringing right knee to right elbow. Pause. Send that leg as high as it feels good to your body before lifting to the tips of the toes, stepping through. Keep the back knee elevated, taking that exact same shape, and then grounding right hand to the thigh or sending right hand towards the earth as we side bend to open through the left side of the torso, the left hip more. 2 breaths. One more full, deep, victorious breath in and out. On the in-breath, we neutralize, we come back to the midline, and then we frame that front foot, preparing for pyramid pose. So begin to lengthen through your front leg, leaf through the toes, and just as we did in that first round, we're walking to the pinky toe side, drawing right hip back, left hip forward to find this beautiful sciatic nerve stretch. One more full breath in and out. Please gaze to the top, bend your knee, hands to the inside, and we'll pivot all the way to the long edge of the mat. Slightly pigeon toe your feet, take a breath in that lengthens the spine before exhaling into a wide leg forward fold. I'd love for you for the first round just to bring your hands directly in line with your heels. So the heels of the hands are aligning with the heels of the feet. We're pressing really energetically into the outer edges. And you, of course, can keep your knees as bent as you need to be. So for you to find the benefit of the stretch. Take one more breath in and out. On the inhalation, you're going to lift your head, your heart, before turning your left toes out and take your hands up towards that foot. We're coming into Skandasana. So first round Skandasana is going to look just like this. Knee over ankle, toe slightly turned out, and the knee tracking towards the second and the third toe. Super glue the outer edge of your right foot And I'm hoping you feel just a really lovely stretch through the inner seam of the legs. Just one more breath, please. You're ready? All the way back to where we began, pivoting, pausing, frame your foot. The inhalation takes you to high plank, and the exhalation moves you through your chaturanga. Taking a baby cobra or that upward facing dog before releasing up and back, downward facing dog. Deja vu on the other side, inhaling to lift through the left, shifting forward, knee and elbow meet. Inhale, find some lightness in that leg. Lift to the tips of your toes, stepping all the way through between your hands. Rising to your lunge. Please feel free to keep the knee grounded. And then finding lateral flexion. Hand supports you, or hand reaching for the earth. Find the lift of the pelvic floor, engaging through your right glute as you take one more full breath in and out. On the in-breath, we lift. On the exhalation, frame that foot. Lengthen the back leg first before you begin to lengthen through your front. Find the lift of the toes and walk the hands to the pinky toe side. Hands on the thigh, the shin, or a block. But everyone squares through the pelvis by drawing the left hip back, right hip forward. It's supposed to be fun, right? We're having fun, right? One more full breath in. And again, rudely, I'm turning my back on you. Frame your foot, bend your knee, pivot to the long edge of the mat. Slightly pigeon toe your feet as you lift your head and your heart. And then please, second round, catch either your calves, your Achilles, or your heels as you gently draw yourself into your second wide leg forward fold. Firm the feet, firm the legs. Use the core and use the strength of the arms to draw you a little bit deeper. One more breath. On the in-breath, we lift our heads, our hearts. On the exhalation, we'll ground the hands, turn our right toes out, and begin to move into that side lunge. So just checking knee and ankle alignment, and checking that the knee is tracking towards the second and the third toe. The spine is long, the heart is lifted. We stay anchoring into the outer edge of the left foot. One more breath. Beautifully done. Please pivot all the way back to where you began. The inhalation will step our feet in, lift and lengthen, and exhaling into your forward fold. Rise and reach all the way up to your extended mountain, looking to your thumbs. And please release the hands to your heart center, Samastitihi. Coming into our final round, but our final round begins with tree pose. So shift the weight to your right foot, and I'll turn to you for a moment. Variation 1 in tree, the foot stays on the floor. Perfect. Variation 2, the foot is between the ankle and the knee. And variation 3, you reach down, catch the foot, and bring it above the knee joint. We just don't want to be pressing into the knee joint. So press your palms, lengthen your spine, press the foot really energetically into the inner seam of the leg. Stay and breathe just for 2 more breaths while I turn the other way. One more full, deep breath in and out. Please release the foot, circle and sweep your hands high, and move into your flow, releasing head and shoulders, please. Breathe in, hands to shins or fingertips to floor, flat back extension. Before stepping or hopping, lowering through chaturanga. If your mat lets you, slide through as you roll to up dog or baby cobra. Lift the hips, release to your downward facing dog. Right leg is ready, let it lift. On the exhalation, shifting knee to elbow, pause. Inhale again, find that lightness and buoyancy as you lift to the tips of the toes, stepping all the way through between your hands. So you know where you're going. Variation 1, we ground. Variation 2, we're hovering. And this last round, maybe that option of lengthening that back leg a little bit more. Right hand, right thigh. Side body opening as we lean to the right. Option to reach the right hand towards the earth. Keep powering into your back leg. Keep expanding through your left ribs. Take one more breath in and out. On the in-breath, the hands rise. On the exhalation, frame your foot. Slide the leg back, lift the toes, and walk the hands to the pinky toe side, please. Draw your right hip back, left hip forward. Finding length through the leg, through the spine, and depth in your breath. Just one more breath in. And on the exhalation, ground the foot, bend the knee, pivot towards the long edge of your mat, please. Take a breath in that lifts your head and heart. But as we move into our forward fold, this time we're walking the hands to the left leg. So using both arms, please, to gently draw the torso towards the left thigh. You can gaze to the floor. You could gaze to the side. You could even gaze over your left shoulder. Final variation, reaching high with your left hand, flip it and bring it into the curve of the lower back or the crease of your hip. So finding flexion, lateral flexion, and rotation, all in one stretch. There's one more breath. To work our way out of this, we reach high with our left hand, and then we ground both hands just to the inside of the left foot. Please turn your left toes out, sinking into your version of Skandasana. So we can stay here. We can roll the toes towards the ceiling, keeping the hands on the earth, or please feel free to bring the hands to prayer. Energize through this leg to the best of your ability. Staying and breathing, side body opening by grounding into your left hand, reaching high with your right. Finding two more breaths here. Just one more full breath in. And on the exhalation, ground the hands. Listen, back up your hips. Turn your left toes right out. So now we're facing the other edge of the mat. And then your left hand goes about 30 centimeters in front of the pinky toe side. Begin to shift your weight. This is called floating half moon. So this might be what your floating half moon looks like. You might test the waters and lift up just a little bit, or moving into a fuller expression if it feels safe. The heart is open, the hips are open, and the eye gaze is staying steady on the floor as we stay for two more brave breaths. One more full deep breath. In slow motion, bend deeply into your left knee. Land your right toes behind you, and you are ready to rise to a warrior two. Reorganize anything that needs a little tweaking. Check your hip and knee alignment. Your knee is over your ankle. The back toes are slightly angled in, and the arms are reaching with equal determination, both directions. Just one more breath in. And out. On your inhalation, we lengthen but not lock before reaching over that left leg, landing the hand on the thigh, the shin, the foot. Roll the ribs open, gazing to the floor, to the side, or if the sun will allow, maybe the top hand. Last three breaths, feeling the feet, strong foundation, the power of your legs, your core. As you take this goodbye breath in, on your exhalation, look down, bend deeply into your left knee. Rise to your sun warrior on the inhale before windmilling the arms on the exhalation, please. Frame your foot, listen, slide to your high plank, but take all the weight into your left hand as we roll to a side plank. Variation 1, grounding into the left knee. Variation 2. We split the stance, so we've got a little bit wider base of support. And variation 3, stacking the feet, please. Finding the gaze to the floor, to the side, or once again, maybe looking skywards. Staying and breathing for 3 more breaths. Helium balloons, lift that top hip. Feel the strength of the underside of the body. Last breath in before releasing the feet, releasing the hand, and traveling through your chaturanga. Take your baby cobra up dog celebration before lifting up and back, downward facing dog. This is the last round. Inhale, lift your left leg. On the exhalation, left knee, left elbow, pause. Inhale, send that leg as high as it feels good. Lift to the tips of the toes, stepping the foot between the hands. Bend the back knee, rise to your version. Variation 1 on the earth. Variation 2, a bent knee. And variation 3, wiggle that leg a little bit further away. Ground into your left hand, reach out of the right side body, finding your side body opening. Maybe reaching through your left hand to the earth. Find the depth, find your edge. Find one more breath, please. On the in-breath, the hands rise. On the exhalation, frame your foot. Lengthen through the back leg, lengthen through the front leg, lift through the toes, and walk the hands to the pinky toe side. Draw your left hip back, right hip forward. Find this beautiful side body opening. At the same time, we're opening through hamstrings and sciatic nerve. Last breath. Walk yourself back to the midline first before pivoting to the long edge of your mat. One inhalation as we set up the feet, slightly pigeon-toed. And on the out breath, both hands are traveling towards the right leg. Gently use the strength of the arm to encourage the chest towards the thigh. The knees can be as bent as you need them to be. Once you've arrived and you're feeling a glorious stretch, then you decide whether you want to reach your right hand to ceiling, flip the thumb, bring it into the curve of the back or the crease of your hip, gazing to the floor, or perhaps looking over your right shoulder. Firm your feet, energize your legs, lift through your core for one more deep breath in. And on the exhalation, looking down, ground the hands, breathe in to lift the head. Spinning your right toes out, begin to sink into your version of Skandasana. Stay high, come low, maybe the hands to prayer to begin with. Energize more into your left leg, into your left foot, and then spread your wings if it feels safe, if it feels available. Right hand down, left hand high, eye gaze tracing the line of the left arm. Last 2 breaths. One more full, deep breath in. And on the exhalation, ground the hands, lift the hips. We turn our right toes out so it lines up. And then we reach the right hand to the pinky toe side. Give yourself some space. Variation 1 looks just like this. We keep the toe on the floor. Variation 2, we test the water a little bit. And then variation 3, find your expression of floating half moon Ardha Chandrasana today. The pelvis is opening, the heart is opening, but the eye gaze is staying on the floor to keep us safe for 2 more breaths. One more full, deep heart, hip opening breath in. Slow motion landing, ready, bending slowly into your right knee. Landing the left foot at the back, rising to Virabhadrasana 2. Making those micro adjustments that you need to set up the posture, the architecture, find the alignment, find the activation of the stabilizers, find your breath. One more breath in and out. We lengthen on the inhalation. We shorten the stance if that feels best to us on the exhalation. And then landing in probably one of the very best side openers. Everything is moving laterally. Tuck the tailbone, roll the bottom ribs around, finding what feels best to you in this posture. Your favorite expression that honors you today. There's only one breath remaining. And on your exhalation, you'll bend the knee. You'll rise to your sun warrior, gazing to that top hand, creating a side body opening before windmilling the arms and framing the foot. We slide to high plank, but we freeze here. Shift the weight to the right hand, moving into side plank. Variation 1, grounding into that knee. Variation 2, split stance. And variation 3, we stack the feet to create just a little bit more challenge by narrowing the base of support. Gazing to the floor, to the side, or maybe the top thumb. Wherever you are, celebrate your efforts as you take 2 more breaths. One more full deep breath in before grounding the foot, grounding the hand, and please travel through your last chaturanga. Take a baby cobra, take that upward facing dog, and then please just shift your weight back to downward facing dog. Just one deep breath in before we finish with tree pose on the other side. You're ready? Shift the weight forward, come to your downward facing dog. Just one deep breath in. On the exhalation, bend the knees, step, walk, or hop your way to the edge. Lift and lengthen. Exhale to forward fold. Rising to standing, finding that extending mountain, and completing this whole sequence by shifting all the weight to your left foot. Finding tree pose with your right toes on the earth, with the right foot between the knee and the ankle, or reaching down just for a moment to bring that right foot above the left knee. Press firmly into both feet, lengthening through the standing leg without locking it. And then find the activation of the hamstring, the quadricep, the glutes, the pelvic floor, the core, before you take one more lengthening breath in. And on your exhalation, release the hands, release your efforts, closing down your eyes, and just reconnecting with your intention. Wipe your slate clean, letting go of the standing sequence, knowing that we've done the work to warm the body to prepare it for our seated sequence. When you're ready, step wide. Maybe not the most elegant way to get to the earth, but this is how we're going to do it. Bring your hands to your knees, your shin, or the floor. Pausing in a wide leg fold for a moment to walk your hands past the edge of your mat. Bring your knees down, and we're coming into tortoise, pardon me. We are coming into frog. This is a frog, not a tortoise. You're bringing your hips to 90 degrees. You're bringing your knees to 90 degrees. And you're turning your froggy feet out to create a 90-degree angle there too. Really intense posture. If it's too strong, just tuck your toes in and come into a modified version with your feet inwards. The more we shift the weight forward, the less intensity there is. The more we round through our spine into flexion, the less intensity there is. To increase the sensation, we shift the hips back if we need more. To increase the sensation, we lift and lengthen into extension by lifting the tailbone, by lifting the heart. We're just going to stay and feel that inner thigh opening. We can stay in the midline, and that's probably more than enough. But if you feel like you could walk slightly towards your right knee, you will. Experiencing a little bit more sensation, most likely through the left side of the torso, but the inner seam of your right leg. If your floor allows, you are welcome to reach away. And you might use your right hand to support your forehead, please. Just one more breath. Ooh. Ready? Ease your way over. So just a little bit of a shuffle to the left side. You'll feel an increase in sensation through the right side of the torso and the left inner thigh. If your floor allows and your flexibility is seeking more, you'll reach forward with the right hand, grounding your forehead to your left fist. Last 2 breaths. Do we love the stretch? We love the stretch. Come back to the midline. To get out of this safely, I'm going to recommend that you bring your hands underneath your shoulders, lift your chest, shift the knees forward so you can get your toes in, and then think angry cat to scoop and lift. Come to a seated position. I'm just going to cross my ankles, sit back, hopefully not fall off, and then take the legs wide. So in this wide leg forward fold, we can bend the knees as much as we need, but I do want your toes to ceiling, and I would like the flesh of the thighs rolling backwards, finding length through your spine first. Nothing more needs to happen. But as we find a little bit more length coming, we begin to shift forward. So just wiggle for a moment, shift for a moment, explore for a moment, finding what feels best to you in this posture. So the toes are energized, the thighs rolling backwards, and you can use your arms to create a little bit of gapping or a little bit of traction through the hip joint by pressing quite firmly the feet away from the pelvis. Finding 2 more breaths, please. 1 more breath. Maybe energize your quadriceps if the knees are long and open. And then in your own time, easing your way up and out of this posture. Keep your right leg where it is. Please tuck in through your left. And once you've arrived there, we're turning our shoulders towards this foot. I always find I need to slide this leg back a little bit as I do that. So open through the leg, but we're squaring the shoulders to that foot. Please ground into your right hand. Send your left hand high. Take a breath in. And then flip the thumb as you begin to reach for the pinky toe side of the foot. So this knee can be bent. We can hold on to the knee, the shin, the foot. And of course, if there's space, you're welcome to lengthen out through that leg. Now, everyone will feel this a little bit differently, right? So I tend to feel everything in this in the side hip and through quadratus lumborum. Some of you will feel this more profoundly in through your hamstring, but wherever you feel it, please roll deliberately your left ribs towards your right inner thigh. And could you use the strength of your arm to gently pull you a little deeper? Not forcing anything, just lovingly encouraging a little bit more depth, a little bit more length. As long as we can stay present with our breathing, as long as we can continue to release and relax through the body. Just take 1 more breath here. On the inhalation, we'll lift our heads, our hearts. As we come out of this posture, point your toes, ground into your left hand, reach high with your right. If you're working with a wrist, elbow, or shoulder injury, stay here. Variation 2, we lift and we reach, gazing to the pinky finger on the floor or gazing to the palm of your hand. Feel the top side of the body opening, lengthening, and then send the breath into the top side of the body, reaching the fingertips away, reaching the foot to the floor. And on your next exhalation, you'll gently spiral your way down and around. Pausing here. If there's any knee issues, this will be the shape that you keep. Variation 2 looks like a hurdler stretch. We're going to take this leg back. So option 1 is to keep your right hand on the floor. This is a really big stretch for most people. So this might be the very best option, just supporting yourself here. Variation 2, if you find you can sit tall, then your right hand comes to your left thigh, and everyone takes left hand high. We begin to then lean sideways. So option 1 looks like this. This knee can be bent. Variation 2 looks like this, but the shoulders leading the way. We're focusing on rolling the top ribs open And the moment we're closing down, we've gone too far. So on the inhalation, roll open towards the ceiling, towards the sky. On the exhalation, softening. Keep drawing back through the toes on your right foot. And if you can, if the leg is long, energize your right quadricep, please. There's only one more breath here. On the inhalation, get just a little bit longer. And on the out breath, looking down if you're not already there. Rising on the next in-breath before releasing the hands to the thigh or behind you. This shape remains, or that Janu Shishasana shape. We're just tucking in through the other leg now. So if you're in Janu, you'll look like this. If you were in that hurdler stretch, you will look like this. And then the last option is to pick up the right foot, come into a half lotus, and then everyone turns to twist with your left hand holding your right knee, your right hand acting like a second spine behind you, focusing on the lift and the length of the spine, using the exhalation to gently revolve. Just 2 more breaths. Finding that contrasting energy between levity and gravity. Last breath. Your inhalation, you'll return your eyes. We'll release the twist. We'll bring both legs out in front. Coming into Navasana, please. So hands on the knees for support. Variation 2, reaching hands forward. I'm going to turn sideways so it's a little bit easier for you to see. And variation 3, picking up. Regardless, inhale to stay. On the exhalation, just opening through your right arm, please. Inhale to come back to the midline. Same side again. Exhaling to open. Last 2, inhale, find the length of the spine. Exhale to open. One more time, lengthen, lift, pause. And on the exhalation, reach before returning the hand and returning your feet. A moment to tuck the chin, to move into slight flexion. Taking one more breath as we say goodbye to that side. And let's just repeat the sequence on the other. So sitting tall, bringing your legs wide, but then tucking in immediately through your right foot. Once you've done that, you're squaring your shoulders to your foot, so you might feel like you need to slide the thigh back a little bit. Right hand to the ceiling, to the sky, left hand to the floor. Find maximal length before you flip the thumb. Bend the knee as much as you need so that you can reach the calf, the Achilles, or the pinky toe. Lengthen as much as your body will allow. Please keep rolling your right ribs towards that left inner thigh and finding this energetic quality to the foot as we gaze Drishti style to our big toe. Last 2 breaths. Maybe one more, hey? Feels so good. On your inhalation, your head, your heart lifts. On the exhalation, we circle this arm around. Ground into the right, point through the foot, lift through your left. If you're working with any shoulder issues, wrist issues, stay here. Variation 2, push down in order to lift up. And creating that beautiful gate pose where we gaze to the pinky finger on the floor or the palm of your top hand. Could you make the top side of your body longer? Could you breathe a little bit more mindfully into your left lung? Taking one more deep breath in. And on the exhalation, we gently circle our way down and around. We're squaring up, keeping the shape, or if the knee joint will allow, the hip joint will allow, then we're coming into that hurdler shape. Variation 1 looks like this. Yep, okay. Variation 2, if you can sit tall, then the left hand is finding the right thigh. Everyone will reach high regardless, energizing through your left foot as you ease your way over into your side bend. So option 1 with the hand here, variation 2. Bending that left leg as much as you need. Everyone, regardless, focuses on rolling open as we breathe in, softening somewhere, but at the same time strengthening core as we breathe out. Just 2 more breaths. One more full, deep side opening breath in and out. Please, on the inhalation, rise up to a seated position. We're tucking in through the left leg. So if you are in Janu A, you will look like this with your left leg in front of the right. If you took that hurdler stretch, you'll look like this. And then that last option, picking up through the left foot, tucking it into a half lotus shape. And everyone takes a gentle twist. Right hand reaching for left knee. Left hand acting like our anchor, helping us to lengthen. So we use our arms to create some rotation. We use our core to enhance the rotation. But the foundation of the rotation is the breath. The inhalation lengthens us, lifts us. The exhalation helps us to revolve. Just take one more breath, please. On the in-breath, we return the eyes. On the exhalation, we release our twist, release our feet, and we have Navasana on that second side. So stacking yourself up, setting up your posture. Of course, variation 1, we stay here. Variation 2, we're lengthening and leaning back without losing our posture. And final variation to just bring shins parallel. Take a breath in. On the exhalation, it's your left hand that reaches away. Inhale, reclaim your posture, your pelvic floor. On the exhalation, challenge the body by reaching away from the midline. Last 2, inhale, relift. Exhale to gently stretch energetically away. Just one more time. Find that resetting of the posture, the core, before taking that last reach away. Return on the inhalation. Exhale to release your feet. And please just take a moment to bow the head, to open the back body. Flood one more breath in there. And then on the in-breath, lift your head. And please come all the way down to the earth, using your knees for support as you do so. And once you've arrived safely, just hug yourselves tightly and gently, gently, gently rock from side to side. So in the side body sequence, we will leave out our wheel pose, but we always want to make sure we're still strengthening back body deliberately by using our bridging shape. So please ground through your feet, touch your heels, make sure that they feel equal and even. Lift your head, make sure your hips and your knees are in one line. And then please, before you move, deliberately energize pelvic floor, lower belly, tuck the tailbone, and begin to lift up in this shape, please. So finding hands walking beneath you, interlacing the fingers, pressing pinky finger into the floor, please, as you energetically press back through your heels. It feels like you're trying to straighten your legs. And by pressing energetically through the hamstrings, we lift. By focusing on kicking the legs or straightening the legs, the quadriceps come to the party. And now I just want you to think about the pinky toe sides of the feet and really enhance that energy. Feeling the side body connection, even though we're just in a simple bridge shape. There's 2 more breaths. So feel the outer edge of the feet, the outer edge of the shin, the outer edge of your thigh, all the way up the line of the torso, all the way down the outside of the arms to the pinky finger that's pressing into the floor. As you take one more goodbye breath in before releasing the hands and gently rolling our way down, one vertebra at a time. Please hug your knees into your hearts. Taking that release through the lower back. From here, we'll ground for a moment. Bring your feet wide, knees together, and just give your lower back a little reprieve by tucking the tailbone. Think about flattening the lower back into the floor. Just a moment of reprieve for the lumbar spine before coming in to our inversions. When you're ready, neutralize, come back home, hug the knees in. So that option of coming into a happy baby pose, please. And we're all going to come here today. So ankles stacking over knees, knees stacking over the armpits or the outside of the torso. Side body is our focus. So gently pull down with the hands, gently press back with the feet, deliberately soften through the head, your neck, your shoulders, your tailbone. Please bring your right heel towards your right sit bone and begin to open through your left leg as much as that leg will allow. The feet are flexed, the spine is relaxed, but we're sending energy all the way through that seam of the leg, through to the heel, as we stay for 2 more breaths. 1 more. Return to your happy baby pose. Guide your left heel in towards your left sit bone and opening through the inner seam of your right leg. Flex your feet. Press energetically through that heel so the legs are still alive and electric, but the back of the head is soft, scapula melting, spine releasing, tailbone heavy. Last 2. One more full deep breath in. As we bring ourselves back to happy baby pose, we begin to explore both legs in the stretch. Whatever the stretch looks like for you, it's perfect. As long as you are feeling gentle sensation, might be more so the hamstrings than the adductors. It might even be more so in the back of the pelvis, your lower back. Please send your awareness there, send your breath there. Energize your legs by pulling the toes down, so that's dorsiflexion. Press through your heels to bring a little bit more length to the legs. And then back body softens for 1 more breath in and out. Gently, slowly return yourself back to the midline. Hug the knees for a moment before taking that counter pose of fish. So feet to the floor, lift the hips, palms down, fingers spread wide, thumbs touching. Walk your legs away. Glue your big toes together. Energize everything in the body. So press into your heels, energize your glutes, your hands, your elbows. Broaden the collarbones to energize the shoulders. And then please lift the head to engage the core. Lift the chest if the back will allow. Release the head if the neck will allow. And picking up the feet if the core can support us in this position. Just 2 more. 1 more full, deep, glorious breath in and releasing out. Please tuck the chin, release the hands, take a moment with your palms to ceiling. Before walking the feet in, and we're just going to approach our twists a little bit differently in this side body sequence. So I invite you to roll towards me, doesn't matter which side you're on. You'll bring your bottom arm underneath your head. You're going to bring your top arm in a moment forward, but please just stack your knees to begin with. So 90-degree-ish, or if you think shoulder, hips, and heels in one line. Sliding your left hand along the floor and just reaching it above you. Keep the knees connected, please, and roll just the shoulders open. And normally we'll feel quite a lovely stretch through the side body here. If you feel like you want a little bit more, you're welcome to lengthen through your top leg, but just be aware that quite often the body will want to roll backwards. So keep maintaining the integrity, the length through the side body here. So if you've taken that leg long, you'll need to come more so back to alignment through the shoulder, hip, knee, and ankle. If you have both knees bent, you're welcome to roll open just a little bit more. Wherever you are, perfect. Just take 2 more breaths. When you're ready, everybody stacks the knees. And then please slide both arms out, rolling the chest towards the ceiling, keeping these knees connected, please. So now the focus is rotation. We always want to balance the energy of the spinal movements. So if you're feeling a delightful stretch here with your shoulders equal, stay. If you feel like you need a little bit more, slide your top leg ahead slightly. You can use the weight of your right hand on your left thigh to encourage you into a little bit more rotation. And if you're still seeking more, please reach through the left leg, lengthening it, catching it with your right hand, and then everybody turns to look away. Maximizing the rotation of the spine from the lumbar to the cervical for 2 more breaths. When you're ready, if you've taken an option with the top leg, please just restack your knees. Bring your eyes back to ceiling and then lift that arm up and all the way to land by your shoulder. Press up through that hand. I'm going to pivot around so that I can still see you. But if you would prefer to just turn your back on me, it's about time that you got to do that to me. So you lower yourself down and landmarking shoulder, hips, and heels in one line. Bottom arm is going to support our head. Top arm is going to reach forward first and then trace the line of the floor. Now, shoulder mobility might be what's limiting how far we can go here. We're just working with our bodies. If you're keeping both knees bent, you're welcome to roll open slightly more. But if you'd like to emphasize purely side body, then you'll stretch long through the top leg. So finding this deliberate lengthening. So rather than passively collapsing into the stretch, because we won't feel very much, we continue to actively seek out the stretch. So from the fingertip to the toe, lengthening, breathing, just taking 2 more breaths. And I apologize for all the squinting. 1 more deep breath, please. You're ready. Stack the knees. And then please begin to reach your bottom arm forward. Reach your top arm away. And we're now aiming to keep the knees connected as we roll the shoulders to touch the floor, hopefully equally. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Doesn't matter. We're just doing our best. Those options we gave, sliding your top leg ahead, using your left hand on your thigh to create a little bit more depth. We're never pulling, we're just using the weight hand. And then if you're still seeking a little bit more, reach that leg long. Right leg long, catching it with the left hand. Roll the pelvis away from the ribs. And then everyone will turn to look away. Parsvadristi just means gazing with softness, kind of like when we're daydreaming. The yogis say you're gazing into eternity. Last 2 breaths. One more. If you took a leg option, you'll restack your knees as you return your eyes to the sky, to the ceiling. And then please, we're going to roll onto our backs from there. Taking a moment, if you need, to just rock the legs gently from side to side. Maybe you want to hug your knees in one last time. But we're moving into Shavasana. Remember, if your back is sore, we bring the knees together and the feet wide to just support the lumbar spine. And if it's available, taking the legs long. As always, we claim space, right? We're open to receive. The feet fall open, the palms are open. And we scan the body from the crown of the head all the way down to the tips of the toes. Finding a sense of complete surrender as we move into our stillness, as we embrace our silence. We relinquish the control of our breathing. We move into the role of the observer. On your next exhalation, could you allow the right side of your body to relax? And when you are ready, on your next exhalation, allow the left side of the body to completely relax. Feeling the eternal essence of you. Feeling the eternal essence of you. You're welcome to stay in Shavasana for as long as it serves you. If you're coming with me, we begin to gently reawaken the body. Shavasana is never long enough, I know. But please begin to expand your awareness. Feel the right side of the body. Feel the left side of the body. And then bring movement. Let the body delight once again in gentle, mindful movement through fingers, through toes. Your hands, your feet get involved, your shoulders, your necks. And then we slide the legs in one at a time, gathering the knees to the heart, rocking gently from side to side. Feel the sides of the body. And then you will roll lightly to the right-hand side, lingering for a breath before pressing the earth away and helping yourselves up into a seated position, please. Coming into any position that feels available and comfortable for your body. We deliberately ground into the earth, lengthen through our spine, grow a little bit taller into the space above you with your hands at Anjali Mudra. Reconnecting with your intention. And as always, closing our practice by sending our blessings, our hopes, our prayers, and our love out into the world with the sound of Om. Take a deep breath in. Om. Namaste.